Are PCIe 6.0 and DDR6 just marketing hypes without real-world benefits? Let's talk. Future cutting-edge technologies like PCIe 6.0 and DDR6 are expected to deliver unprecedented bandwidth and performance. However, despite these advancements, many users will find that their high-end GPUs are still underperforming in real-world scenarios. These two new hardware standards boast staggering bandwidth numbers, but real-world tasks like gaming or video editing rarely benefit meaningfully from these specs. The gap between what's promised on paper and what's delivered in everyday use is wide and mostly filled with marketing gimmicks. While bandwidth measures how much data can move, latency dictates how fast it starts moving. It is often the real bottleneck in time-sensitive tasks. DDR6 and PCIe 6.0 may shovel data faster, but if it takes too long to get going, you're still stuck with sluggish performance. Most systems don't even come close to using the bandwidth provided by PCIe 5.0, let alone PCIe 6.0. With software and hardware still catching up, these new standards feel more like theoretical flexes than practical upgrades. Upgrading to PCIe 6.0 and DDR6 often requires an entire platform overhaul. You will experience negligible performance gains in most everyday tasks. For the average user, it's a high-cost, low-return investment dressed up as cutting-edge technologies. Early adoption of PCIe 6.0 and DDR6 is often more about bragging rights than practical foresight. Until the ecosystem catches up, future-proofing is just an excuse for overpaying to beta test high-end hardware. A CPU bottleneck happens when your processor can't keep up with your GPU, limiting overall performance regardless of how powerful your graphics card is. This causes your top-tier GPU to sit idle waiting for instructions, resulting in frustratingly low frame rates. More CPU cores don't automatically mean better gaming performance because most games still depend heavily on one or two fast cores. What truly matters is core efficiency and single-thread performance, not just the total number of cores. Many game engines fail to utilize multiple cores efficiently, leading to poor performance even on high-end hardware. If a game is only optimized for single-threaded execution, your CPU's extra cores will sit idle while only one is overloaded. CPU architecture factors like IPC, cache, and instruction handling can drastically affect performance beyond just core count and clock speed. A well-designed CPU can do more per cycle, delivering smoother gameplay even at lower frequencies. Benchmarks from demanding games often show that underwhelming GPU performance stems from CPU limitations, especially when older CPUs are paired with powerful GPUs. Upgrading the CPU often yields bigger performance gains than a new graphics card when bottlenecks are present. Intel and AMD should continue prioritizing single-thread performance improvements to ensure legacy and lightly threaded applications don't throttle GPU workloads. Integrating advanced instruction sets like APX and widening front-end architectures can reduce instruction stalls and maximize GPU feeding efficiency. Improving intercore communication through technologies like Intel's EMIB and AMD's Infinity Fabric is essential to avoid latency spikes that starve GPUs of needed data. Both companies should refine cache hierarchies and interconnects. This will ensure faster and smoother coordination between CPU threads that handle GPU-bound tasks. Intel and AMD must expand developer tools and documentation to make hardware features like AVX10 and AI accelerators more accessible and easier to optimize for. Empowering developers ensures software better utilizes CPU capabilities, reducing bottlenecks before the GPU even gets involved. Pushing CPU performance requires more robust heat management. So, Intel and AMD should work closely with cooler manufacturers to support high-wattage, low-noise solutions. Efficient thermal designs will allow CPUs to maintain boost clocks longer and sustain throughput to GPUs without throttling. To avoid launch day inefficiencies, Intel and AMD should offer early access to instruction sets, development tools, and pre-release platforms for software vendors. This alignment ensures new CPUs can immediately deliver optimized performance, preventing bottlenecks during critical GPU-heavy workloads.